Hi, I'm Alex Hopkins, your on-air producer, and I am super stoked for today's show. I have a returning guest, Sydney Kjerstad with Smart Game Piano in the house. And so the last time you were here, we actually, we talked a lot about how much you believe everyone should learn piano, and how music is a huge part of a lot of people's lives. But today, we're going to talk about nerd culture.
Yay.
Yes.
What the heck even is it?
Right?
Right.
I think it's a buzzword. I think a lot of people are very excited to talk about nerd culture.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah.
I remember in high school when we've been inundated, there's this group of people, this group of people. There's the emos, which unfortunately don't exist anymore.
Except when I go out on the weekends.
Oh, are they there?
Yeah, the Dark Island. Oh, I am it. I bring that game.
The emo on the weekend. But there's the nerd culture, and I think, and I don't know what your definition is. Nerd is someone who is very into something, and maybe to a point of a fault. I'm not sure. Maybe yes or no.
Interesting. I look at nerd. So the first thing I think is I have that connotation. Do you remember the movie Revenge of the Nerds?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Get out.
Sorry.
So, okay, this is what I nerd out about, right? Are
Right.
these movies and these and TV shows, as we talked a little bit off air about. But I always have this connotation of somebody with the pocket protector, and they've got the glasses with the tape on it, right?
It's very stereotypical.
very-
He talks in a nasally way.
Yeah, the Urkels.
The Urkels.
The
exactly.
Urkels. That's
yes.
where I go with nerd culture. But I think this day and age, I would agree with you. I think there are pockets of where you can be overly nerdy about something. So
Yes.
I may not be a nerd per se, but I'm definitely nerdy when it comes to pulp culture trivia.
Right.
I get really angry. I have a roommate that will bring first dates when we go to trivia night, and it angers me because you have to pay attention
You do.
at trivia night.
Because you know what's up. You got to win.
Exactly. So you can't bring someone that you're trying to get to know
That's
to trivia night.
That's a good point. I'm not here to learn about you. I'm here to win and tell you everything I know about stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
Look at my amazing skills.
Right. Exactly. That's true. And I think a nerd is someone who is, gets overly excited about that stuff.
Yes.
Before we started recording, you're oh my God, this TV show, Sydney. Oh my God, this movie. And I do the same thing with music and with video games, and I see people do it with beer. I see people do it with clothes. I see people do it with makeup. And I think those count.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think nerd culture has expanded, and I think we're in an era now where it's cool to be a nerd.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, look at all the freaking hipsters nowadays. What are they wearing? They are wearing pants that come up to here. They're rolling up their pant legs. They have glasses, and they wear plaid.
Yeah.
I've just described Olive Fort Collins. I feel
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's very hip to be unapologetic about what you're into right now.
Yes, which I think is a great space to be in personally. I am a huge advocate for owning your weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
My late fiance's mother actually uses calling it owning your geek, finding your geek.
Ooh.
What you're into.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Now, geek is an interesting term.
Right.
Yes.
What's the difference?
What's the difference, right? I'm going to step back a little bit and nerd, and I want to talk a little bit about intelligence, because I think one of the other stereotypical things that you think about with a nerd is that they're intelligent.
Yes.
Mostly in math, say, or science.
Right.
But I think with this new nerd culture, it's intelligence and whatever you're passionate about.
Right.
Yeah.
I just thought about the Breakfast Club,
Yes.
the movie. Who's the nerd in that?
Brian.
The smart one.
Yeah.
Right. And everyone else just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Right. But now I don't think nerd has the same he's smart at everything.
Yes.
Like you just said, they're smart about that specific thing.
Right.
And think about the kind of like Denver pop culture conventions this weekend. I'm going to it. There's going to be nerds everywhere.
Yes.
And there's different flavors all the time.
Yes.
You know?
I love that.
And But that's what I like about it, because way back when people saw like people go to Comic-Con and stuff like that, it's like, oh, they're getting out of their mom's basement and going outside to socialize with each other.
Yeah. They've already been socializing online for years.
They have, and now they're just going outside. But now it's just like like, my name is Bill, I work in accounting, I like to go for runs, and I'm going to Comic-Con this weekend.
Right, exactly.
It's just a matter of fact now.
Yeah, and I have yet to go to a Comic-Con. It is on my bucket list.
It's a good time.
I hear. But I have an intimidation for going.
Why?
Because I don't feel like I belong, because I'm not passionate about the typical things that you would see at Comic-Con. I like comic books.
Right.
Which is something you discovered about me today.
I didn't
Yeah.
like Alex and comic books.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a niche, Denver Moon. Check it out. But like I have certain things that I really like about it, but I wouldn't say that I'm overly confident in my knowledge of those, and I don't want to get into an argument with somebody at a Comic-Con because I don't know all the things.
That brings up another point there, like about nerds being very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Protective.
Okay.
About what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, very similar to the term gamer. Like, very similar. Like, gamer is a subcategory, a subspecies of nerd, if you will.
Yes.
And that are very much like, are you even a gamer if, like, you don't have a PC? Like, are you even a gamer if you've never played, like, Dota before, you know? And so that's so funny that you're, like, so scared to, like, go.
Right?
Because someone's gonna be like, well, okay, when was the first issue of Denver Moon published?
Right?
You know?
Who was, exactly. And I just enjoy reading the book,
right.
man.
So, like, does nerd still have that negative connotation of, like, greater than you?
Yes.
Because I know more about this subject than you do.
Exactly. Ooh, that's an interesting area to touch on.
Yeah, because we know those people. We all have one of those in our life.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
They show up quite a bit. It's like, you're like, I'm not sure. I'll have to check that out. And they pop up out of nowhere. Well, you should know that if you are actually a fan. It's the same thing, the sports guys.
Yes.
When women say they like sports. I'm a huge Colts fan. But could I tell you who the coach was in 1926 when they were still in Baltimore?
Right.
Right?
No, because I've got other shit to do.
Exactly.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Totally fine.
Okay. No, that makes perfect sense. But it's like, I feel like when people get so defensive about, like, their nerd culture and, like, if you're a real fan, this, and this would be true. I'm like, why? Why are we so protective on this, friend?
And let new people in.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you share your passion for it with people? It's like when you show somebody a show the first time. You end up watching them more than you're watching the show, right? You're like, okay, did they get that joke?
Right. You're just like,
yeah.
What'd you think?
Yeah.
Right.
Hilarious, right? And it's like, I can't watch this with you watching me.
Right.
Yes.
Thus ruining their experience.
Exactly. But that being said, I think there's a lot to take apart with the nerd culture, particularly this area of, like, everyone should be a nerd and has nerd in them.
Right.
But we also need to be a little more open, because you can be uninclusive.
You absolutely can be. And so, like, I asked my audience, like, what they thought a definition of a nerd was. And, like, it's funny because we're not having a great time trying to define it.
Yeah.
And I've got 4 answers in here that they all say completely something different. So shout out to Yanni. He's super active on Smart Game Piano. His answer is a person who is into something that isn't sports.
Okay.
So you can't be a Colts nerd.
Well, I disagree. I like that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's more about, like, the stereotype.
Right.
Like, you know, the Steve Urkels of the world.
Yeah.
Storm a Husky said obsessing over fandoms. Which I think makes sense. Just like, have you heard that term before, fandom?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, like, you're a part of this fandom.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm a Harry Potter fan.
Yes, exactly.
100%.
You're in the Harry Potter fandom.
Yeah.
I like Harry Potter fandom. I'm very much into, like, I love Steven Universe, that, like, cute little show. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's so cute and I love it.
Yes.
Not into the Steven Universe fandom because the fans are not great sometimes.
Oh, see,
not great.
I would imagine that there's a culture within each of those fandoms. Yes, I would say the Harry Potter people are pretty inclusive.
Yes, they are, because they want to know what house you're in.
Exactly. Yeah, and once you discover your house, but, like, I don't hate Slytherins.
What house are you?
Hufflepuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. No wonder. No wonder we get along. We're in the same house.
Exactly. But yeah, that's I like that idea of fandoms though, because you can also that includes sports.
Right. Yes,
Right.
I think so.
Yeah.
This is another thing we talked about. One person said essentially anyone who is overly passionate about niche topics.
I would agree wholeheartedly with that definition.
That was Boingo Mendoza. Bravo.
Yeah.
And the last one is by a guy we call Lettuce.
Is he going to let us in? I had to. I'm
B
sorry.
minus.
Thank you.
Accessibility and depth media icons or memes people get right away and think more about later.
Huh.
So someone who lives on the internet, maybe?
Maybe. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people miss on origination of memes.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know where stuff comes from.
Right. And so it takes a special person to have that curiosity to want to know where that came from.
Right.
Yes.
That's a meme nerd. Those exist.
Yes.
My best friend, when I'm like, I'm sad, send me memes. She's just meme.
Yeah.
I'm like, where do you get all these?
Oh, I have a stash as well.
Yeah.
I have memes from, from before memes were memes.
Yes.
Yes.
Before they were called memes.
Yes.
Before there was a label attached to them.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love those definitions, and I like that they were all different because, as we are having a hard time defining nerd culture, I want to go back to a point that you made, find your geek love.
Yes.
Yes. So geek versus nerd.
I don't know.
I don't know the difference either, but I have a great story. So I have a friend, because I use the term dork too.
Yes.
Yeah. So nerd, geek, and dork, I feel like all have these connotations.
There's a Venn diagram where they all have something in common.
Exactly. And naming what that is, I think, is different to whomever is defining that at the moment. But I have a friend who I called a dork, and he got really mad at me. And he was like, well, because the technical term for dork is something about an elephant, like an elephant butt hair or something like that.
What?
I'm pretty positive. We'll have to look it up. But he got mad that I called him that. And I was like, all right, then I'm going to start calling you a nerd. And he was like, I'm fine with that.
Huh.
I have no problem with that. But the word dork really got under his skin.
Okay.
Yeah, and to me, I felt like they were interchangeable terms.
Okay.
Yeah, like you're being a dork about this right now.
Right.
Yeah.
As opposed to like you're being a nerd about this right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I would agree with him. I don't think they're the same.
Right.
Like, in my family, we use dork lovingly.
Right. And it came from a nice place.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like you're so awkward and cute. Like that's what I think. I think a dork is an awkward, cute person.
Oh, so maybe I am a dork.
You might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You have to own it.
That's fair.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm a nerd about the Colts, but I am a dork at heart.
Important distinction. Right.
100%.
But a geek, like, I don't know. I feel like they're mostly interchangeable, but somehow, like, there's a trivia thing called Geeks Who Drink.
Yes.
Right. Like,
which I frequent.
yeah.
Yeah.
I suck at trivia, so my friend has to drag me because, like how you like geek out like about the popular stuff.
Yeah.
I nerd and geek out about the not popular stuff. So like I go to trivia like I don't know.
Well,
like,
okay. So you can easily find some niche trivia, though. There's some great places all over Denver. I highly recommend getting out any trivia night.
I'm gonna have to look that up and find a place where I can shine.
Yes, 100%.
Right.
I'm sure that there's a Stevens Universe question.
There has to be. It's gonna be full of Steven Universe fans, though.
All three of you.
All three of us
Just kidding.
in the Denver area. But that's huge because like. I think I remember trying to think about this earlier, like, okay, geek versus nerd. Is like one more intelligent than the other? Is a geek presents themselves a little differently? Does a nerd present themselves differently? Are we using these as verbs, adjectives, as nouns? I don't even know. I think we're at the point where even like big celebrities and businesses are recognizing that, oh, nerds are cool right now. We have to cater to the nerds.
Yes.
And so what's the difference between nerd and geek? And they're like, we don't care. We're just going to talk to them all like they're the same.
It's all one, one big movement right now, fad, if you will.
Yeah.
It's, for whatever reason, I always go back to, there was a conversation in an episode of Saved by the Bell about geeks versus
another
nerds.
show I did not watch.
versus dorks.
Right.
Again, where shine. That's my nerd culture.
Right.
But yeah, so there was a very distinct, so geeks tend to be clumsier the nerds.
Okay.
Right? So that
I don't know.
why don't you know? But yeah, and so I always kind of go back to that because I was introduced to that, right?
Okay.
But this day and age, I don't think it looks like that at all anymore. Yeah. I think they're both interchangeable, and you can find your definition as it comes to you.
Find your geek, you
Yes,
know?
I love that.
Right. Like, I know so many people whose geek is brewing beer. Like, you know, like
Yes.
normal, wonderful, chatty people, and then you go into their garage where they're brewing beer, and it's just like something switches, and they're just like so excited, and you're like, I love and appreciate that you love and appreciate this. This is overwhelming.
Right? I will
Right?
try it.
Yeah.
I don't need to know about the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, just let me drink it at the end of it.
Yeah.
And you could say the same thing about comics. You can say the same thing about books and Harry Potter and video game music, video games, for example.
Oh, for sure. I want to talk, you mentioned celebrities.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think there are a few celebrities that we might consider nerds.
Yes.
Bill Gates,
Yes.
top of mind. Elon Musk.
Yes.
I
Absolutely.
would say he's a cooler nerd.
More, maybe approachable is the wrong word, but definitely cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I could go out and have a drink with Elon Musk.
Yes.
I feel like Bill Gates would be bored with me because I'm not on his level, right? Like,
Oh,
there's that
maybe.
intelligence piece. Not that Elon isn't an intelligent being.
But he's just like, I'm gonna, smoke a blunt with Joe Rogan, and
right.
like-
Exactly. He's relatable.
Right.
Yeah. I could easily see myself having a drink or rolling a
Right.
blunt with him, right?
Right, yeah.
No biggie.
Right.
Bill Gates, though, first of all, I think my intimidation factor would go up. Man has built an empire.
So, like we talked before, that like there's an intimidation factor not you going to Comic-Con.
Right.
But is there there's not obviously an intimidation factor being attached to a nerd because Elon is less intimidating than Bill.
Yes.
So are nerds scary or not?
That's a
That depends on their celebrity
whole nother
status.
question.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, and I don't know if that's even celebrity status because I would consider Elon Musk to be more popular
Yes.
now than Bill Gates. I back in the 90s, clearly
Absolutely.
Bill was
Yeah.
at the top of his game. But there is an intimidation factor of just, I have such an awe for Bill Gates,
Yeah.
personally.
Right. Because
Yeah.
of what he's done. I mean, you may develop that awe for Elon once we're on Mars.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and don't get me wrong, I was super impressed with Roadster. Like, it's amazing things that he's doing, and it's so awesome to see. And perhaps we're just in an age now where we appreciate nerds more. Maybe
Yeah.
that has something to do with it, whereas Bill Gates came around when it was like,
And I wonder if it's because of technology and internet that nerds are more acceptable. You know?
well, they created it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in power now.
Ooh.
You make the tech, you get to be in power.
Could I have been manipulated to think that nerds are cool?
You could have been.
Oh.
You could have been. I mean, look at TV shows nowadays, like The Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
All about nerds. Stranger Things, the main characters play Dungeons and Dragons in their mom's basement.
Of which I'm trying to get a D&D group started.
Please get me in there because I want to do one
Okay,
too.
100%.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah, because I definitely, it's on the list.
Good.
I also want to bring in somebody else here. R.I.P. Stanley.
Yes, absolutely.
We had a little bit of this discussion off air, but we didn't get into it.
Right.
Is he a nerd?
I don't know. Like, if you create Spider-Man, I think, like, here's nerd, you create Spider-Man, you're above everybody else. Like, because what little I know about him is that he shows up in all Marvel movies as cameos.
Yes.
And he's got his glasses, he's shades, and he's got this swagger that just makes, everybody blush, you know?
Well, and I feel like that's very Alfred Hitchcock of him.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And
okay.
Perhaps he stole it from him. Perhaps it was one thing he wanted to do. I don't know. But that being said, I like your idea of he's above them because he created it. But I also think that a lot of people that create their comics now got their inspiration from a comic book and being a nerd about comic books.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you go from wanting to be a football player into like, I'm going to make a comic, right?
Yeah. Not typically.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes me want to like read into Stan Lee some more. Like, what was his childhood like? What did he want to do? Like,
Right.
or did he always just want to be like, he dreamed of Spider-Man one time when he was 5 years old and just finally was able to manifest it.
Right, exactly. Finally got it down on paper. I
Right.
don't know. Like,
Yeah.
was he beat up in school because he was a nerd?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I saw a young photo of him. He was a cutie patootie.
He was, he
Yeah.
was a handsome gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stanley.
Yeah, we don't. But the answer is we don't know.
Exactly.
We don't know.
But questions, right? If you've got a comment, leave it for us.
Yeah, if you think Stanley's a nerd, let us know.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
Yeah. Tell us what you think. So nerds weren't cool.
Now they are.
Now they are.
Are they going to be cool?
Are we going to continue to see so I think we're on a pretty cool path. So when you mentioned being in high school too, and we all
Yes.
had our cliques.
Yes.
Right? I very much was a person that talked to everybody.
Yes.
I don't feel like I ever had a clique. I was a cheerleader, but I hung out with people that played in the band. I also hung out with the stoners. Sorry, Mom. But like right? Like I hung out with everybody. I never considered myself part of a clique.
Right.
And I definitely considered myself weird.
Yeah.
I own my weird, right? Like
Yeah.
if I'm gonna be nerdy about something, I'm gonna let you know.
Right.
Yeah. And I will do my whole spiel about how the brew is made.
Right. Because you're excited about it. And you want to
Exactly.
share it with other people.
Yeah. But I don't hang out with a whole lot of high schoolers.
Shouldn't.
I don't.
Right.
But if I have a conversation with a high schooler, somebody that's in the education space, right? And
right.
they teach high schoolers. What I hear is that there's way more acceptance now overall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and I'm continuing to hear that, which is really awesome, and something that makes my heart very happy.
Yeah.
But that being said, are we going to continue down this path, or do you think we'll break off into more siloed areas?
I feel like because of the way social media is, because of the way the internet is, how everything is much smaller now, I hope that it continues to be more blended and a little bit more accepted. Because like on my Instagram, for example, I follow pianists, I follow entrepreneurs, I follow makeup artists, I follow a little bit of everything. And I think because like people can certainly still present themselves as if they belong in a clique, you know?
Yeah.
But, and then when they go out and do their thing, you'll realize, oh, it's not just who they are. They're doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like what you were doing in high school.
Yeah.
I think that's just how everyone is. And I think just the illusion of presenting yourself in a way that may be cliquey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. And I think the illusion of the 80s and 90s of the cliques is just being, maybe that's how it was all along. There were never any cliques. We just thought there were.
We just made them up
Yeah.
ourselves.
Right.
Yeah, those invisible lines. Well, and
Yeah.
pop culture plays a huge role into that.
Absolutely.
Are you a fan of Clueless?
No.
Okay. Of course.
I told you I don't like mainstream things.
I know. I don't know why I keep asking. I'm Harry Potter.
I like Harry Potter.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I don't think was intended to be mainstream at first.
No, I mean, J.K. Rowling never thought she was going to, like, really get big from this. She just wrote something like, I wanted to do this, and boom, it was magical.
Exactly.
Pardon the pun, you know?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Right.
notice it. I like the pun.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
leaving
you.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in Clueless and other mainstream movies, you see that there are cliques, and it's presented to you.
Right.
This is what high school is.
Right.
Yeah.
That
And
was my high school experience. It was very segregated.
It was my high school experience as
Yeah.
well. I chose not to care.
Yes.
And to do my own thing, and why not be friends with everyone?
Right, yeah.
I'm sure somebody is going to say that I was cliquey, but right, your perspective is your
Right.
perspective. Any last thoughts here on nerd culture?
I feel like we didn't actually answer anything, but I also feel like we revealed a lot of things,
I think so too.
you know?
Yeah,
Like, what's a nerd? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go geek out about Pokemon and drink a beer and listen to some brewer talk about it.
Right.
You know? Like,
Exactly. I'm going to go to trivia and
Yeah.
and ace my pop culture trivia, right?
yeah, exactly.
So I don't know that we can answer that question.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is a nerd? That's really hard.
Yes. What's the nerd? It's everybody.
It is.
It's everybody.
We all have a little nerd.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sydney, thank you so much. This has been
Thank
such
you.
a pleasure.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to have you back and see what we're going to talk
We're
about
gonna do more
next.
about this.
Yes.
We're gonna go through all the Pokemon, list them one by one, and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10.
Pikachu.
That's one. Good job. You got one.
Squirtle.
Yeah,
I got 2.
there you go.
I got 2.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Be sure to like and subscribe our YouTube page while you're here. Leave a comment for us. Let us know what a nerd is. We would really appreciate that feedback. You can find more information about Smart Game Piano in the description as well. Thank you so much. It has been lovely.
It has been. Yay. Bye.